Good morning. I am 4 minutes earlier today, and as always, you know the drill. If you're watching and recording, please stay with us for the next 4 minutes or simply fast forward to the beginning of the actual practice. Good morning, Joey. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Mariella. Good morning, Alice. All right, it is time for us to start. And as we're starting a new month, my God, time flies so fast. Um, I am inspired to offer you a whole month of loving kindness practice. And of course, all of you already know what it is about. And we're going to do different types of reflections around this. And every day, we're just going to do the practice itself. Of course, if you have any special requests during this month, I will still honor them as always. So please don't be hesitant to reach out if you need any specific practices to be voiced on our sessions. Other than that, I'm going to just go ahead and proceed with that. So, well, let's dive in. Take a comfortable position and take a few moments to acknowledge all the circumstances of your practice. As always, you start with the external circumstances, the sounds and sensations of the outer world, And then you zoom on your inner world, your own personal sensations, thoughts, emotional state. Let your breath be soft and easy, completely without forcing. And let this easy breath be the source of effortlessness in your body, effortlessness in your heart and mind. Scan your body from top to bottom gently. Just notice what sensations are present, what thoughts are present. Notice your response to my offer of doing a month of loving kindness. Really, it's going to be kind of an exploration of what radical happiness can be achieved through the loving kindness practice. How does it sit with you? How does it sit in your body, in your heart, in your mind? In the next month, I'm going to be drawing a lot on the work of Sharon Salzberg, a famous mindfulness teacher. And of course, as always, I'll recommend a few books that she wrote that you may want to read if you want to dive deeper into this exploration. So Sharon Salzberg writes, life is such as it is, despite our protests. For all of us, there is a constant succession of pleasurable and painful experiences. And of course, theoretically, we all know that the unrelenting flux of life's changing conditions is completely inevitable. And yet, practically, we always labor to hold on to pleasure, and we labor equally hard to avoid pain. So many images from our world tell us that it is wrong to suffer, that feeling pain or sadness is shameful, somehow humiliating. And underlying these images and messages is an expectation almost that somehow we should be able to control our pain, our grief, our loss. Just reflect on the moments when you experience mental or physical pain, how often you feel the sense of isolation, a disconnection from all humanity, from life. Our shame in experiencing pain sets us apart in our suffering at the very time when we actually need most to connect. And on the other hand, conventional transitory happiness also carries a subtle undercurrent of loneliness and fear. When things are going well, when we're experiencing pleasure and getting all what we want, how often do we say to ourselves and actually others, oh my God, my life is too good to be true? How often do we secretly wait until something breaks? We almost feel obliged to defend our happiness because it seems so fragile, unstable, as though our happiness needs constant protection. We deny the very possibility of suffering. And again, we cut ourselves off from facing it in ourselves and in others because we fear that it will somehow undermine or destroy our feeling good, our good fortune. And in that highly defended state, we withdraw into a terrible aloneness in such a way that we cannot actually allow ourselves to experience true joy of connection, true joy of life. So how strange our conditioning is to feel so alone in our pain and to feel almost equally alone, isolated, vulnerable in our happiness. The basis of the Buddha's psychological teaching is that our efforts to control what is inherently uncontrollable cannot really yield the security, safety, and happiness we seek. In fact, control is a total illusion. And by engaging in this elusive and delusive quest for happiness, we only bring suffering upon ourselves. In our frantic search for something to quench our thirst, we overlook that there is water all around us. And instead of drinking from that well, we drive ourselves into exile from our own lives. And of course, there is another way. And if we are to find reliable and sustainable happiness, we want to move from trying to control the uncontrollable cycles of pleasure and pain, and instead learn how to connect, to open, to love, no matter what is happening around and within. After all, the difference between misery and happiness depends on what we do with our attention. Do we look for somewhere else to drink when we are in the midst of water? Really, transformation comes from looking deeply within to a state that exists before fear and isolation arise, the state in which we are whole just as we are. We connect to ourselves, to our true experience, and then we discover that to be alive means to be whole, pleasure and pain, everything. For example, consider how the sky is completely unharmed by the clouds that pass through it, whether the clouds are light and fluffy looking or dark and formidable. There is a word in Buddhist psychology, tathata, that can be translated as thusness or suchness, and it describes a state in which the totality of our being is present. Our awareness is not fragmented or divided, and in this state of suchness, some part of ourselves is not sitting elsewhere waiting or looking for something better or different to happen. Instead, we are completely present, not beguiled by the token happiness promised by conventional assumptions. And in experience, the freedom of suchness of life, of tathata, we discover who we actually are. The happiness of the Buddha, the sustainable, unwavering happiness, if you will, was founded on the clear seeing and compassion running through his life in all circumstances, no matter what. This is what suchness of life means. And this kind of happiness transforms us within and really revolutionizes our perspective on the outer world. And in fact, the whole concept of inner and outer simply disappears. Funnily enough, when I was typing up this The notes for this practice today, uh, the word suchness, every time I typed it up, was autocorrected to muchness, as if that's a word. But I was laughing because this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Those messages that we receive from the outer world, that we need more, we need control, we need only pleasure, we need muchness. No. What about if we just sit in our suchness instead and not let it be autocorrected by the outer world? Because resting fully in the present, in the suchness of life, is the source of this happiness, the sustainable happiness. And when we open to our own experience, this inevitably opens us to others and to life itself. And this is a radical change of view that liberates us so that we know who we are most deeply and can acknowledge our enormous ability to love no matter what. Love ourselves, love everybody and everything else, love our life, no matter what. And in this way, our own happiness, the sustainable happiness, can change the world, can change history. And it actually does. So for the next few minutes, let's dive into the loving kindness practice. I'll remind you that the traditional verse for the loving kindness is, "May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and mind. May I be happy, healthy, and at ease. May I find deep, natural peace." But you are welcome to find your own words, and in the next days and weeks, we will talk more about it. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the traditional verse a couple of times and then give you a couple minutes in silence to do your own practice. If you want, you can place your hand on your heart or simply connect with your heart, however you need to do it. And gently start repeating the words. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and mind. May I be happy, healthy, and at ease. May I find deep, natural peace. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and mind. May I be happy, healthy, and at ease. May I know deep, natural peace. And now I'm going to give you a couple of minutes in silence to feel into your own experience. And whatever suchness, tathata, arises, just be with it and keep repeating your mantra. And now gently finish the verse. Scan your body once more to notice how you're feeling right now, physically, emotionally, mentally. And thank yourself for being here. And today I invite you to notice the suchness of your life, tathata, and how you tend to stay with it without judgment, without feeling ashamed of if you avoid pain, if you try to avoid pain or seek pleasure. It's all good, it's fine. Just on the quest of learning who you are. So be curious instead of judgmental. And every time you notice that you are in the cycle of duality, the cycle of seeking for pleasure and avoiding pain at all costs, what if you gently repeat the loving kindness mantra? Will it change anything? Again, no judgment. Be curious. Explore. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow.